everyone, so here we are today. We're going to be painting a very fun idea. It's a little snowman. I have the image up on my screen, and the snowman has lights in it, so it's going to light up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some holes to place the mini lights into the canvas. The first thing I did was I took an 8.5 by 11 canvas and I painted it black. Black is a color that takes a lot of time to dry, so I had 2 coats of black put on my canvas first. So it took about an hour, hour and a half to dry completely. This way I'm ready to paint my white snowman. Okay, and this is the tool I'm using to make the small holes into the canvas. So as you can see, I made a few already, and I'm going to show you how I did them. I just took the small tool, it's called an awl, and I punched a hole into the canvas. So I have a small set of mini lights. They take batteries, 10 mini lights. If you can find a set of 10, it's a lot better. A lot of times you'll see them sets of 20. 20 would be too much for this size of a canvas. Unless you were painting maybe an 18 by 20 size canvas, you could use a set of 20. So we're going with a set of 10 mini lights. And we're going to make 10 holes. Remember, you have a small wooden frame around the back of your canvas. So make sure you don't try to make holes too close towards the edge so it won't go through. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So one more. Here we go. So after I'm done painting the snowman, I'll place the lights in and I will use my glue gun to secure them in the back. So for now, while we're painting, we're going to remove the lights. So for this painting, I'm using white paint, black paint, and orange paint for the nose. And I'm going to mix white and black to make some gray shades into the snowman and also to make his arms. If you wish, you can also use a pencil to outline your snowman. And if you're not that comfortable with making circles, you can use maybe a glass or a small bowl to outline circles before you start. I'm just going to do this freehand. For those of you who've watched my videos previously, as you know, I like to put a bit of water on my paintbrush because I'm using acrylic paint, and sometimes paint can be quite thick, so it just helps to keep things a bit smooth. Obviously, since we're painting on black right now, putting white on top, we're going to need a little bit more of a thick coat of white paint to make this snowman really pop off the canvas. So he's like sitting in a snowbank here. For those of you tuning into my video for the first time, my name is Stephanie Bond, and I'm an artist located in Barishwa, Quebec. I usually have a lot of workshops within the community. Of course, right now during COVID time, I decided to come online and do a craft online. So hopefully if you're at home with nothing to do, this will give you a fun activity to do on your Christmas vacation or with your kids this weekend. It's a really cute decoration. You can use it pretty much all winter because it's a snowman. You'll see naturally some black showing underneath the snow, so it's kind of nice because it looks a bit like a reflection. So now we have 3 circles for our snowman, the biggest circle at the bottom. I'm just kind of eyeballing the center of my canvas. Again, this is an 8.5 by 11 canvas size, but you can use any size you have. flat brush, fairly large brush for this texture. When I did make my holes, I made sure I made them on the outside, so that way the holes are like snowflakes and they're not touching the snowman directly. I'm just tapping and brushing gently and letting those small textures show as if it's really an icy snowball. The reflection from the night is shining on the snowman. But I really made sure that my black was well dry before I started. If not, it would turn out to be a big gray mess. So make sure you're patient and let your black paint dry. So continue until you're happy with the shape of your first snowball. You can always go back later after it dries and add some more white if you think there's too much gray shading. Now we're going to do our medium snowball in the middle. If something's to happen and you accidentally don't like the edge of your white snowballs, you can always let it dry, come back later, and paint black around the edge. That's the fun thing about acrylic paint. You can layer it and layer it and layer it, and it always still kind of looks good, as long as you let those layers dry well. Now we have our final smaller ball for the snowman's head. If you wish to use a smaller brush at this point, you can. Always use the brushes that you're comfortable with. That's why I don't ever name the size of brushes I'm using. It's what you feel works for you. If you prefer to use a smaller brush, it might take more time to fill it in, but that's okay. You're the one painting, so it's your level of comfort. I'm just touching up a bit of the snowman. Take a look at my design. Make sure I'm happy with the shape. Which I am. I think it works. So now I'm going to take some white and black and make a gray for the snowman's arms. And I'm going to use a smaller type of long liner brush or any type of small brush to do this. So I'm going to go all the way up with an arm. And you can add as many little branches as you wish. Little arms. One here, you'll notice I already have my hole for my light here, so I'm just going around it. Sometimes a branch will be thicker at the bottom and smaller at the top as well. I'll put a little bit of white as well on my brush just to make a little bit of reflections on the branch. I'm just going to show you this a little bit closer so you can see the design so far. Now we'll do the other arm. And a little bit of white on my brush again, and add a little bit of reflections onto my branch. Now I'm going to use the same light gray color just to add a bit of shadows on my snowman. I'm just adding a bit of texture, extra layers. I'm taking white and gray on my brush at the same time, just doubling up some textures. Underneath each snowman, you can see I'm putting in some extra gray to show that there's some shadows within the snowman's body. Just want to make sure I don't have very much black canvas showing. I want to have a nice fluffy snowman. You may need to let your white dry a bit before you do this as well. If you're at home, you could take a little 15-minute break and let it dry before you start adding extra layers of white on top. And I'm just working wet on wet right now. It can work as well. You could even go back and take your larger brush again and add extra layers, whatever you feel works. You could even use a bit of blue or aqua blue if you feel like bringing in another color into the snow. Sometimes you'll see blue highlights into the snow, but because this one is nighttime, I felt that white and gray would be nice, and it also gives it kind of a modern feel with the white lights. I'm going to get back to my wide brush just to add some extra snow. This is just pure white right now. Add a few extra layers. And a little bit of gray. If it becomes to the point where your brush is pulling the paint off and you're seeing a lot of black underneath, then you really need to take a moment to let your layers dry. It means you have too much wet paint. I like to pick up my canvas, always make sure that I paint my edges. I'll show you my example. It always gives your painting a nice final touch, so I will even take the time to paint white underneath. And my white snowbanks on the sides. Just makes everything look finished. There we go. I'm just gonna take a little bit more gray and just add another layer on top of my branches. I really want my branches to show up well and pop off the canvas, so I added a bit of extra. So I think that looks pretty good. A bit of texture. Okay, so I'm happy with my snowman. Now I'm going to paint the carrot for the nose. I'm going to get a small brush. I'm going to get another small brush because this one doesn't want to come out of its package. So, you know, tiny little brush. I have my orange and a little bit of yellowish, kind of a mustard yellow color, just to add a bit of texture to my carrot. So he's looking up towards the stars. So his little nose directly in the center, all the way up to the sky. I really like the way that pops off the black canvas. A little bit of yellow, dark yellow, a little bit of reflections. A little texture. Don't be shy to play with your textures. I like that. And take a moment to wash off my same little tiny brush so I can do his eyes, his nice smile, and the little buttons are like hearts, which I find really cute. So this is back to the black paint. So his two little eyes are like two little half moons looking up towards the sky. Something happens and you're not happy with the shape you made, let it dry, cover it back up with white and start again. So I will just let you see close. These cute little eyes. Now he's very happy, he has a big smile. He's happy that Santa Claus is coming in a couple weeks. I'm going to make him a nice, happy smile. Go. Now 3 little buttons. You could do like large black coal shaped buttons. You can do whatever you want. You can put a red scarf, red buttons, green scarf. It'll be really fun to see if you do this activity, what you came up with. So you can share the photos of your paintings with me in the comments, and we can enjoy to see what kind of creativity you came up with. I always like to see. No one will have the same snowman. Everyone will have a little snowman with a different little face. That's the fun thing about art. No paintings ever turn out to be the same. So now the last touch to this painting would be the white snowflakes. So we could use a dotting tool, which is a small wooden stick with the metal ball on the end to do snowflakes, but I know not everyone has that tool. So a little trick I like to use is I'll take the small brush and I'll use the back of the brush to make my dots. So I'll just use white paint. And it just makes a perfect little dot of snowflakes. You can add as many snowflakes as you wish. Oops, I accidentally smudged some white paint. A little bit of paper towels and water. If your background is already dry, you can just remove any kind of little mistakes. Afterwards, I can take my black and touch up my mistake. We'll just leave it like that for now. This is just a great little decoration for Christmas. Could also be a great gift to give to someone. I think the small lights, I paid them $2 or $3. So. You can also come up with different ideas. You could also do, for example, a Christmas tree. Would be cute. With multicolor lights. Would be a cute idea. You could do a Christmas wreath. Whatever you wish to do. I really like snowmen. Happy little decorations for the home. I think that works. Black paint just to touch up my smudge here. Fix it. Okay. So I will post the finished product in the comments later after I put all my lights in. I'm just going to add a few lights in just to show you how cute it will be. As I mentioned, I'll use my glue gun later to secure my lights. But I almost don't need to. They really, really fit in well. If you don't have the awl tool, I'm sure you can use any sharp object to pierce through the canvas. It's pretty thin. It's quite easy to get through. How cute is that? I'll show you a little close up. So I'm going to add in, there's 10 lights altogether. Also going to push them back a little bit just to make sure that they are not too distracting. I just want to see like the small ends of the lights. So we'll adjust those later and I'll show you final painting as well. I'll take any kind of sealer like Mod Podge or a spray sealer, and I always like to give a varnish to my paintings. It just keeps them, it's just like the final touch. It gives them a bit of shine and it keeps the dust and stuff from collecting on the paint over the years. So we'll take a moment to thank Vision Gatsby Percy now for sponsoring this video. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas